Good morning, and it is a different show today here on THG Network. It's Friday, 3rd May. My name is Mervin Hanley, and of course, we are prepping up for the big one, the Mervin Hanley Show. But in the meantime, we call these practice runs until we get practice runs with serious runs until we get official with the Mervin Hanley Show. And so, of course, we'll try to have these interviews at least twice per month on a Friday. And today I am speaking to, or will be speaking to, Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes. She's the Deputy Political Leader of the People's Action Movement on the island of St. Kitts and Nevis. She's also an attorney there on St. Kitts. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me go over and say good morning to Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes. You have a lot of names. How are you?
Good morning, Mervin. I am doing well. What about you?
I am doing good. I want us to have not just a Q&A, but a very meaningful and a very frank discussion here this morning, because there's so much happening, and I believe that politics is a serious business, and it's for serious people, and it's for serious conversations. I'm hoping that I can have that conversation with you this morning, and a very frank one, as I mentioned. Now, Shanny, the current leader of the People's Action Movement, that's the Honorable Sean Richards, stated that at the end of the term, he will step down officially as leader of the People's Action Movement. Since then, you have announced your interest in becoming leader of the People's Action Movement. Now, what makes you believe you will be a good leader for the People's Action Movement?
Well, Mervin, I want to say publicly and thank the Honorable Sean Richards for his leadership of the People's Action Movement. He has served with distinction, and I want to really thank him. Now that he has indicated that he no longer intends to run for leadership, this is an opportunity for the party to restructure itself and reorganize itself. And I see it as a new day and a new way forward for the People's Movement. I have the party at heart. There's no doubt about that. You see Pam, you see me. And I have shown nothing but commitment and dedication for the People's Action Movement. Not just as a supporter, but a member and a candidate in the past election that took place in August 2022. And as an office holder, it has been struggles being in opposition. It has been good times in government. And now that we are in opposition again, I think having experienced both opposition and in government as a member of PAM, a supporter of PAM, and an executive office holder of PAM, I have a wide share of experience as to some of the ins and outs of the party, some of the positives and negatives, some of the failures and successes. And so I think I am well fit to lead the party forward, learning from some of our experiences. And I have nothing but love and commitment for the party.
Okay. Can I call you Shanny in this interview?
You call me Frank.
No, you just spoke about your experiences and your PAM from probably birth or whatever the case may be. But share some of those experiences, though, and share some of what you have been a part of as far as a member of the People's Action Movement.
I don't think my membership comes from when I was a teeny bopper.
Okay.
But I've been around the party since I'm small. But I became a member, a financial member, since about 2000. I worked as an indoor agent. I've done that for a few elections, and I was placed in situations where I had to challenge our former Prime Minister, that is Denzel Douglas, because I was of the view that he was voting in a constituency where he didn't belong. And so I was placed in a situation where I had to fight for my party, fight for the people. And that is something that I have been doing forever. and I will continue to do, because it is something that is within me. It is a passion that I have, and I want to see right. I want to see democracy prevail. Apart from that, I've held positions at the constituency level. I've been deputy chairperson of a constituency. I've been secretary. I've also been part of a candidate selection committee. In relation to the national executive, I have been the assistant general secretary, the general secretary. I have been the treasurer. I have been the deputy chairman. Presently, I am one of the 2 deputy political leaders. And I think within a month's time, I'll be the political leader of the People's Action Movement.
Okay. I don't think that you guys know who the delegates are, because right now delegates may be listening and they may be wondering, PAM delegates that is, and they may be wondering, why is this a good time for Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes to be leader? Why not someone else? Why Shanny?
Well, I don't want to say that I am the only person that has worked in PAM, because there have been many persons who've worked in the political party to see it reach from one point to another. Mm-hmm. But whatever role I just don't do it and try to stand on the side and take the praise. I roll up my sleeves and I break a sweat, because I believe a leader or anyone holding a particular position should lead from the front, and they should show people that they are willing to work hard and willing to encourage others to work hard, because it not only builds the party, it not only builds that person, it builds the party, and by extension, it could trickle down to the communities and the country on whole. And so people know Shanny. People know what I can do, not just in constituency number 1. I have worked in different constituencies. I'm not going to say that I am somebody who is always there, but if it is something is happening, an event is happening, I am not one to shy away and say, oh, I'm not going to that because it's not in my constituency, mm-hmm. or I'm not going to help. It's about the party. It's about building people up. And that is what I know. I am about making others be the best versions of themselves. And that includes the low man, the middleman, those in the higher ups, whoever you are, because I see myself who can relate to anyone regardless of your class or status.
Now, speaking of constituency number 1, you ran in constituency number 1 back in 2022, of course, unsuccessful then. Some will say that a leader must be able to win his or her seat. So do you believe that you have what it takes this time to defeat Honorable Jeffrey Hanley in the next election?
Now, the 2020 elections, if we are honest with ourselves, was no ordinary election. It might have been my first election, but it was no ordinary election by any stretch of the imagination. It was a snap election. It was an election where a government had crumbled. It was an election that had a lot of different factions, where they had 3 political parties, and so there were a lot of things that were going on at that particular time. And I'm not even going to take my personal circumstances. I'm going to look at what was happening on the ground at the time. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. A leader must be able to win his or her seat. That doesn't mean if someone did not win their seat the first time around that they can't be a great leader. Case in point, our first Prime Minister, I think he was an exceptional leader. He led this country to higher heights. But he wasn't successful on his first one, and not even his second. I think he was on his 4th election. He might have lost 3 elections.
Wow.
Before he won. But can anyone say that he was not a great leader? I think someone who is able to show persistence, determination, and hard work, and able to take constructive criticism so that you can strategize and make things better for you the next time around, increase your margin, win the seat. And if it is the people focus on your message as well, you will be able to show people that you can be victorious. You are the only option. And I think right now, the present representative in constituency number 1, he is not looking after the people. And so I am at a point where I can now put myself in a better a more informed position to look at the concerns, to look at the issues that are affecting people, address them, continue to work hard within my constituency, because I have not sat down and say, okay, I've lost the 2022 election, see you in 5 years. I am continuing to work. I'm continuing to assess the situation. I'm continuing to look to see what is happening within the country and what needs to be rectified. And I am preparing myself for the 2027 or 2026 election, whatever time the Prime Minister says we will have an election in St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm preparing myself. I'm not sitting down and twiddling my toes and praying that everything will work out. God helps those who help themselves, and I'm going to work. I'm going to work harder, and I'm be more strategic in making sure that as the leader of PAM, I will win constituency number 1. I will win other seats within the country so that the People's Action Movement can form a government come the next general election.
And this time take the prime ministership?
Oh yes. They will be the first female prime minister in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I am aiming for the skies. I am not just going to be what people are looking at. They're saying that a female prime minister should be a Mia Motley. But I think a female prime minister can be Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes.
Now, speaking of leadership, Shanny, the first thing anybody would ask or say to you about leadership, especially as a major political party, and especially on St. Kitts and Nevis, because let me tell you something. A campaign, as you probably know by now, can run you into the millions of dollars as a political party. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that whether or not you are in a position to raise funds for a political campaign, not just for you, but for all 8 seats on St. Kitts, do you think that you have the ability and the capability to do this?
Mervin, and I think I could call you Mervin.
Yes.
I'm someone that can talk and talk well. I am someone who is able to sit down, have a conversation and network so that there are the necessary resources in place. I've had training in relation to campaign financing, campaign management. And so once you sit down, prepare a budget in terms of what we need as a party to win the next election, put the necessary strategies in place so that you can now put them into action. Don't just put them on paper. Put them into action.
You need about $3 million US.
Mervin, I'm quite certain I could get more than $3 million US.
Okay.
You need to have a vision for the party, a vision for the country. And persons who you want to donate to the party must know what your objectives are. And once you market the party as a viable option, market the party as the best option, market the party as the alternative government. Persons will be willing to donate. Establish a framework that they would want to donate and encourage others to donate. And go big. Move from small to big. Go big and go large. Because elections are expensive. But you put things in place. There is a proper plan in place in terms of what the developmental goals are for the country. Things that will be attractive to donors, attractive to the constituents, and attractive to attract foreign investment in the country. However, I can't see why any donor would not want to donate to the People's Action Movement.
No.
Once I align my vision, and I'm keeping certain things to my chest, because nobody can steal my idea. I want to put that on the table. But there is a plan that I have in mind, and it doesn't require me to say everything.
Right.
But
now, there are those who may not want to see you as leader, or even if they like Shanny, but they would say, oh, Shanny's personality is too soft, it's too calm. This is a big man business, meaning not necessarily a big man, but they're just saying that, you're too soft. A leader must show strength and vitality. What do you say to folks who are concerned that you may not be tough enough to be the leader of one of the major political parties on St. Kitts and Nevis? How do you convince PAM delegates that Shanny is ready to take on this fight?
Mervin, a leader must know when to be firm and strong, and aggressive, and when he or she is able to be empathetic, compassionate, and there's a time and place for everything. Some persons, if I were to go and act a certain way or say things a certain way, will still criticize. Mm-hmm. They will still criticize. Why is she behaving like that? Doesn't she want to be the next prime minister? Isn't she the leader of a party? Why can't she talk down? You can't satisfy persons. But I will be who I am. I will address the issues with aggressiveness and firmness when that time is required. Mm-hmm. I will be the person who persons have fallen in love with during the 2022 election. Was it that person who was on the stage or on the platform getting on like what we would say a dirt bike? Was it that person? How is it the love for Shanny can change from one extreme to the next within a matter of 2 years? I am going to be me, but I will address the country, the nation, and the issues with firmness and authority when I have to do so, because running a country is no easy business. And I'm not going to say that, I have to be soft and petty and all that, but there is a time and place for everything. And I have to be who I am. I'm not going to let anyone change me. That doesn't mean I can't address the issues when the time arises.
Thank you for that. I am going to touch on something here. I must say that I mean no offense, but it's just the reality of how things are when it comes to politics. As a leader, and especially as a woman, let's be honest, ladies come under more scrutiny than men. Yeah? Women leaders, you have to deal with the way you look, the way you dress, even before you leave the house. The shade of your makeup, your weight, and it goes on. And I know that it can be an uncomfortable subject for some. Now, are you ready to be under this type of scrutiny? Not just from those in PAM who may not think that you are ready for leadership, but from opposition forces, whether it's Labour or whether folks out there who are just intimidated or threatened by you, or whether just people on whole, human beings. Social media is brutal, and you have to expect that. So are you ready for all of this?
I am ready, like I've never been ready before. I was subjected to the same criticism in relation to my style of dress, my hairstyle, my makeup. Even on last week, I heard someone saying, why do women have to put themselves through these things when they can just stay home and look after their families? Why is it that women have to be playing catch up or trying to fit in? Why are we not treated as equals? Mm-hmm. Even on Sunday gone, the party went out and we prayed for the nation in relation to the crime situation in St. Kitts. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, my husband overheard someone saying, why I had to be in there with my daughter, I could just stay home and relax. And trying to make it look like being with a child in a picture as a politician is something bad. I want the best for my child. I want the best for the nation's children. And so they have to lead by example. And when they see people praying for the nation, it is something that they would pattern and mimic. Mm-hmm. I don't see women have to be subjected to the scrutiny. There were questions about even why do I want to run for leadership when I have a mortgage? Are they saying that working women, can't put themselves up to office because they have responsibilities? Aren't we thinkers? Aren't we solution makers? Aren't we somebody who can contribute to society? But I think I can contribute to society. So I will not let anyone try to shame me or to make me feel that I am less than a person just because I'm a woman. I'm educated, I look for the issues, and I can address issues. And it doesn't matter whether I'm male or female, it is whether I'm competent enough to carry out the task at hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just logging on to THG Network, I am speaking to one of the deputy political leaders of the People's Action Movement, Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes. She's vying to become the next leader of the People's Action Movement. And I believe that caucus will be held in early June, convention early June. So in just a matter of weeks, we'll find out who will be the political leader of the People's Action Movement. Now, just a question or two before we wrap up, Shanny, this morning. Now that we have spoken a lot on politics, and I just want a few minutes to ask you about the direction right now of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis under the leadership, under the Prime Ministership of the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew. You say that you're ready, so let's talk federal matters here, government. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent, how would you rate the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew?
I would say 3.5.
How much?
I'm being honest, 3.5. He is still learning on the job, and there are so many ministries, so many matters in relation to the country that need rectification, and we can't continue along the way in which we are going. The economy is at a standstill, the health situation, there are so many things happening at our main hospital. You're hearing about shifts in permanent secretary, someone who is not even qualified or experienced in relation to health. You're having movements here and there. There is no construction going. How we want to boom the economy. The construction level is at an all-time low. There are persons who are in need of housing. There are persons who are jobless at the moment. There's so many things that I can outline. The prices in the supermarkets are skyrocketing, and persons are just struggling. And if it is, as a government, you made certain promises, certain things were highlighted in your manifesto, and you recognize that you are unable to meet those targets or accomplish those things, seek help.
But Shanny,
right now,
Shanny,
Yeah.
Hold up a second. Is it fair to say that, yes, he's learning on the job, but it's just been 2 years? Not even, well, August will make 2 years, really. Is that fair, though? I mean, yes, you expect that maybe the country should have been at a certain position right now, but the party, though, the Labour Party, they have a 5-year mandate. So is it fair to be overly, or, well, to be so critical at this time in his second year?
Yes, because there are certain things that they would have highlighted. Let's take one point, the reduction of VAT. There were certain that they highlighted in their manifesto that they would have completed by a certain time. Mm-hmm. The timeline has passed and they are not implemented. I don't expect them to complete all the promises within 2 years for a 5-year mandate. But there are a number of things. We are seeing a situation where the PAP program has been in a persons who were relying on the social safety network, mm-hmm. even to get items, basic items, food items, medication. They are off of that program. I'm not saying that we should have a country that is solely dependent on government programs. But when you stay on the outside and think that you could fix everything on the inside before getting there, you recognize that, things are not what I thought. Come out to the nation, explain what has happened or what is not happening, and ask for some time to be able to rectify, so that there is a certain level of accountability and transparency. Don't pretend that everything is okay and the country is running differently. Persons are feeling it, Mervin. Persons are feeling it in their pockets. Mm-hmm. The businesses feeling it. So, yes, I understand that they have a 5-year mandate, but how do you tell a mother who is unable to provide food for a child? Well, the government has 3 more years. So just take it easy. How do you tell a mother that?
I hear you. As we wrap up this conversation, you gave your grade on Prime Minister Drew and his government, his administration. But I'm going to ask you a question you may not expect at this time. I know that you politicians, you prepare and the interviewer may ask me this or that or whatever the case may be. So let me try and ask you something you may not think I will ask. Peter Wickham on Win FM the other day said that the People's Action Movement should consider forming an alliance with the People's Labour Party, PLP, with Timothy Harris. He believes that this is the only way for the People's Action Movement to be victorious. If you become leader of the People's Action Movement, knowing the history and what took place under the former unity arrangement, would you be willing to be sitting with Timothy Harris to discuss any form of alliance?
Now, Mervin, I am not a nation unto myself. And becoming the People's Action Movement doesn't mean that I make sole decisions. Political decisions which will affect the party, which will affect the country, has to go through the rank and file. Now, I've heard what Peter Whittam has said. I've heard that he thinks that, that's the only way Pam can be saved. But Pam has shown the nation that before, yes, we've joined with other political parties, but we've also shown that we were able to win 6 seats already. We were also shown that we were able to work with PLP, we were able to work with NRP, we were able to work with CCM. So our options are open. Our options are open in terms of how we are going to be part or form the next government. And I am going to say this again. Our party believes in democracy. I am not going to be a one-woman leader who wants to make all the decisions. I have to be properly advised. I have to be properly instructed and strategize in terms of what is best for the party and ultimately for the country.
Okay. Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes, your final appeal to the delegates of PAM, whoever they may be, regarding why should they vote for you to be the leader of the People's Action Movement. I'm going to give you 1 minute to wrap up and to speak directly to whoever they are, the delegates. Your future will be in their hands. Go right ahead.
Well, I know some of my delegates may be listening, but I will be meeting with you one-on-one and ensuring that you understand that my commitment and dedication to the party cannot be questioned. My hard work is something that can be seen from the different posts that I've held. Me trying to ensure agencies are mobilized is something that I have done throughout without being the deputy political leader or even wanting to become the political leader. It is something that I want and desire for the party to remain a stronger unit. We have 10 units in our party, 8 constituencies, the Young Pamites and the National Women's Group. And my endeavor and desire is to ensure that all of these units are active. We have a task at hand and we will not slow down until we meet ultimate goal. Any political party should want to be down Church Street, and the desire of the People's Action Movement is to take over the government whenever the next general elections. And I am committed, devoted and dedicated to ensuring that that is what happens. And so I am ready to mobilize. We are in election mode right now. From after I become the leader of the People's Action Movement is go man go and go woman go.
Thank you so much, Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes of the People's Action Movement. Thank you for joining me here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you were just listening to a discussion with the Deputy Political Leader of the People's Action Movement, Natasha Shanny Grey-Brookes, as she's vying to become the next leader of the People's Action Movement. Interesting times are ahead politically on St. Kitts and Nevis. I'll be back with you with another interview like this one. You'll get the heads up on which Friday it will be next. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. It's a long holiday weekend actually on St. Kitts and Nevis, so guys, be safe out there. All across the Caribbean, some islands, you too will be enjoying having a holiday on Monday. And I will be back with you not on Monday for the news, but Tuesday morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time for THG News Today with Mervin Hanley. Do have yourselves a blessed and wonderful, safe weekend, everybody. God bless.